Hey guys, my name is Mina and we're back with dxbbq. Today I'm going to be cooking an absolutely spectacular meal. It's the beef cubes with mushroom sauce. Such a rich, juicy, warm meal, and being a Serbian that has lived in Russia her whole life, these warm meals are something that really, created that bond at the table and the family in the evening when it's cold temperatures outside and you just want to have something warm and juicy, and this is exactly it. Obviously, we're using dxbbq's premier beef. It's top-notch quality and you absolutely need to try it. Let's get started. I hope you guys enjoyed this cooking session. You better do. And if you need any extra details on the recipe, you're more than welcome to text dxbbq. I'm sure they're going to be more than happy to send over all the details. So I'm going to first heat up the pan a little bit, not too much because it's important that the onion doesn't burn. We're going to be cooking the mushrooms. They're going to be releasing quite a lot of water as well. So burning is not necessarily going to be something that we should be worried about on this recipe, but it's always better to be safe than sorry, right? I feel like with this recipe, although I'm not a huge fan of using butter, sometimes we can. And I feel like since we already have cream here, it's just gonna make that texture more smoother. So you can cut maybe, I don't know, if this is a good, how many grams is this? 50 grams? Maybe like a good 1/3 we're gonna use for the meal. Not even, maybe even 1/4. It's very important for your butter to actually be at room temperature before you fry anything. Now, as a Serbian that was raised in Russia, as I said, I think comfort food has always been something that's hearty and that's rich, and that's exactly this meal here. I'm not a huge fan of using too much onion. Maybe we're gonna cut a half of it. This is gonna be the last moment before I start crying, guys, because of the onion. It's okay, it's gonna be tears of happiness that I'm gonna eat this amazing dish. So we're gonna slice the onion a little bit. You don't want the pieces to be too big because you don't want to necessarily taste just the onion. So make sure they're nice and small. And I think if you're cooking a meal for 1 or 2 people, half of the onion is more than enough. Now, of course, everything ends up to personal preferences. It's gonna look funny, but I got told that if you cut your onion with your tongue sticking out like this, you're actually not gonna cry. I'm not sure if I want to try that now. It's gonna look a bit weird. Now, I don't know if you know, but there's a fun fact about mushrooms, and that is they're actually more close to animals than there are to plants. And at the end of the day, it kind of makes sense, right? Because for all the dishes, mushrooms do bring that deep and that kind of meaty flavor. Oh, here the onions are coming. I'm gonna start crying. You absolutely need to find that good quality meat because a lot of the times when you do eat beef cubes, they end up being a little bit dry, a little bit too strong on the taste, and they don't necessarily melt in your mouth. So if you guys ever want to make this dish at home, make sure you get the meat from dxbbq because we've absolutely tested it. It's an extremely soft taste and it literally melts in your mouth. So I added a little bit more of butter. If you do want, you can add some parsley. Make sure you squish it up a little bit before you place it in so that it releases all of the tastes. My cameraman, I got a gift for you. Your bouquet of flowers. Alrighty. Now how all the famous chefs do it. Sexy. Alrighty. That's about it. Honestly, this doesn't need too much of frying. As you can see, mushrooms are releasing all their sauces. Onion is kind of absorbing all that in. So it's very difficult for this to burn now. Alrighty, we can start preparing the meat. Before you put the meat to fry, you've patted all the water out, which is super important not to make it, let's say, too steamy. You can mix a little bit of salt and pepper. Again, place as much as you think is needed. In Serbian cooking, we actually believe in slow meals and strong sauces. And this kind of dish, I think it's perfect to be served with like crusty bread or even a little bit of mashed potatoes. But again, you don't want to ruin the actual taste of the meat as well, right? So you can put it on the side and eat it up with that sauce. So now I'm gonna put the meat in. You could actually bring your fire up in this moment. I wish you guys can smell how amazing this smells. Honestly, like I'm getting so hungry and I haven't eaten all day. And this is gonna be that perfect dish that's not gonna be too heavy on the stomach, but it's gonna make you nice and full And it's also important to actually cook dishes that you eat slowly. I feel like our life is just so fast-paced here in Dubai. We're constantly running, eating fast food, just the terminology, let's do something quick, I don't have enough time. It became such a normal, let's say, sentence to say. But I do feel like we need to do some more slow food and we need to slow down our life a little bit. And I'm sure each one of you can find that 1 hour during the day when you can just sit with your loved one, have your favorite dish, bond, talk, remove the phones, remove the tech, and just enjoy the food. And this dish is literally one of those dishes that reminds me a lot of, you know, how I used to grow up when you used to come home and it's like literally minus 15 outside and you're just there drinking your hot tea, eating your, we actually called it similar to beef stroganoff, you know? You just eat that warm meal that's not necessarily a soup, but not necessarily too dry. And it's just the perfect match of all the flavors. All right, I'm gonna leave this be a little bit now. Of course, later on you can try it. I'm gonna add a little bit more salt. If you're cooking for other people, I think it's important for you not to add too much salt just because you never know what the preferences are. As you can see, the meat in a way started steaming a little bit because the mushrooms released all of those sauces. So it's important to keep on a lookout to make sure this doesn't happen, as everyone likes a little bit of crust, especially before we place in the cream. When you slowly start seeing that a little bit of crust is being placed on your meat, this is the perfect time to actually put in the cream. As you can see, it didn't take long. It's something that you maximum need 10 minutes for, but it's just so good. And it seems as if, you know, it takes an hour to make, but honestly, it's something very quick and very tasty. Honestly, I'm so happy that dxbbq came into my life here in Dubai, just because that quality of meat is always very difficult to find, especially in cosmopolitan big cities, where, as I said, people don't have that culture of actually slowing down, enjoying the food, like, for example, Italians do. And the fact that we have such strong quality meat that's being brought for everyday use at such a reasonable price, I think is the best possible thing that could have happened to all of us here. So this mushroom sauce that we're making now is definitely going to be that warm hug of this dish. And we're going to add just a little bit of cream, not too much, just to smooth everything out. Again, you could always skip the cream part if you don't like the cream, but life is too short not to eat creamy things. You know what I mean? Like, again, you don't need to put too much in the beginning. I'm just covering it a little bit. And this is when you know that your meat is ready. You're nearly at that medium, between medium and the well done phase. And this is where you just splash in the sauce. And I'm just gonna let it be a little bit now. I'm not gonna mix it too much because I want all of those tastes to be released. Alrighty guys, I think our dish is done. We're gonna serve it nicely on a plate. As you prefer. If you're a messy kid, you could actually get one of those bowls. If you wanna make it look nice and beautiful for this video, as we do now, we're gonna put it on a flatter plate. Look at all these flavors and juice and sauce. Spectacular. I'm gonna collect the rest with my spoon. Voila guys, I think that was it for this dish. Honestly, look at it. Full of love, full of softness, full of warmth. And it's something all of us miss these days. So take care of your loved ones, cook as much as you can from them, and of course, use dxbbq meat because you don't even need to think about it. Your quality is gonna be there, your taste is gonna be there, and it's something that's just gonna add that little extra form of positive energy to your day. Hope you enjoyed this episode and stay tuned for way more content coming very soon.